Hello and welcome to the Fastballs Sports Network. This is our second episode. We'll be covering Major League Baseball. I am your host, Mark Sanger, joined by my co-host today, Chris Candela and Frank Tropiano. We're all pretty excited. Spring training just started. Baseball's here. It's really starting to feel that way. How are you guys feeling right now?
I'm excited. I'm not a fan of MLB Network just playing spring training games nonstop. That's kind of get old to spring training, but I'm excited for the season starting. Got a month away.
I'm excited, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get an eye roll here, but I love when MLB The Show comes out. I love playing MLB The Show. MLB The Show is one of the best crafted video games, and we'll have videos on it a little bit later. But I love when baseball starts because I love when MLB The Show comes out.
Spoiler, Frank actually works for Sony, so that's a big reason why.
That's his plug. But no, I get that. When spring training comes, the show comes, they coincide with each other. It's always really exciting. Chris, to your point, it's pretty frustrating that it's a full month of spring training games, that the players have spoken out against that. You know what? We probably don't need 30 days, 25 games to play. We could probably do it in like 15, and get your reps in. But this is the process. This is how it goes. And I love that baseball's back on my TV.
Well, listen, I don't mind how long it is. It's just I don't like how MLB Network just gets lazy and just puts on reruns of.
I'd rather watch that than Bull Durham or Summer Catch or one of those movies I've seen a million times.
I disagree with that. I don't think you would rather see that. I think you'd rather watch Bull Durham than that.
Listen, a lot of the movies that they play on MLB Network are not good. It's baseball for the sake of baseball and for no other reason.
And they have to bleep out Major League and Bull Durham.
Yeah.
They can't curse. They can't use any of their words. So it's like,
All right, I'm still taking that over the Cactus League on 11 o'clock at night on a Monday.
We were just saying that we love the MLB Network before spring training and after spring training because
it's the best sports network.
They do a phenomenal job. All the hosts, everyone there.
All right, during this show, we're going to cover the betting odds, really, for the divisions, the World Series, but really just a breakdown with spring here, kind of like an MLB intro breakdown to the season. You guys ready?
Yeah. What sportsbook are we doing it on?
FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going to start with the AL East. Chris, this is your stomping grounds. You're the big Yankee fan here. Frank and I are Mets fans. The Yankees are the heavy favorites. They signed Garrett Cole. It's pretty much all they really did this offseason, but it's all they really had to do.
Yeah, they didn't do much. They literally kept their pretty much whole team. They lost Didi, brought back pretty much everyone else. We got Andujar back. They lost Betances too, but he wasn't on the team last year, so they can't really even count him. Yeah, there's no reason why I shouldn't win the AL.
Like I said, they're the heavy favorites going in. They're minus 370 in terms of the betting odds. To me, it feels like a no. I think the Rays have a shot. Not a great shot, but a shot. Frank, what do you think about the Yankees?
I hate the Yankees. I'm not going to lie. I'm a Mets fan, as Mark said. But, there's no denying the talent, right? There's absolutely no denying that unless some type of anomaly happens where they lose a lot of people, and even last year.
They did last year.
I would say,
they had it last year.
That literally can't happen.
Paxton's already out. He had the back surgery. He should be back sometime in May. Severino's in question now. We're not really sure what's going to happen with him.
The thing is, what they had last year, just can't happen again. And,
but it's already started.
102 games.
Their 2 and their 3 starters already in limbo.
I know, but it doesn't even matter. They're still going to win 100-something games.
I cannot see the Yankees ending the season with anything less than 95 wins. And I think anything under 98, something went wrong. Honestly,
yeah, I agree.
Their win total is set at 101.5. That is aggressively high.
Aggressively high. I agree.
I think
I'll take the under just because everything has to go right to win the 100 game season.
That's not true because they won 103 last year and nothing went right.
But Gio Urshela went right. And
I know, but they lost all those guys.
Their replacements played better. Usually they make you hit 345 and was the runner-up in the MVP. The players that they lost got more production from their subs.
That's debatable.
I don't think it is.
Mike Tauchman is better than Aaron Judge. That's not true.
Based on what he did.
No, that's not
true
at all.
In terms of per-game basis.
No, that's not true at all.
Mike Tauchman's
better than Aaron Judge? What?
He didn't have the at-bats, but on a per-game basis.
No. Come on. Come on now.
All right.
I'll give you Gio Urshela, but Mike come on.
So he had a 900 OPS.
For me, I think that the Yankees are just
Judge at 1,000 OPS.
The Yankees, as they're currently structured, are built to just absolutely dominate the regular season and the postseason. But more importantly, the regular season. The way they're going to mash home runs over the wall this season, which you're going to say is not different than last season. But assuming that they have a healthy Stanton and a healthy Judge the entire season, this team is set up to just absolutely crush the ball the entire season. They have favorable schedule because I don't think Boston's going to be any good, and I think that they're going to beat up on those 3 teams. And then
They
obviously,
also beat up on Tampa.
I was about to say they Tampa Bay. You can't assume that they're going to beat up on them, but they always wind up doing it. I think the Yankees are. I'm going to take the over on the Yankees at 101.5.
Really?
I hate that I'm doing it. I will say this: when it comes to the postseason, the Yankees, I'm a little concerned about one thing, and that's if the Yankees need a big hit. And it's not DJ LeMahieu up there. Are we confident enough?
Torres.
Are we confident enough in Gleyber Torres as a young kid? Are we confident enough as
he was
Aaron
sick in the playoffs
Judge,
last year? Gleyber was the guy in the playoffs last year.
With guys like Gleyber Torres, with rookies, especially in the postseason, you just want to see it like a little bit more. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Gleyber can't go in and do it.
He was sick last year.
I just want to see it.
I would pull up his stats.
I just want to see it one more season. That's all I'm saying.
Chris is obviously very passionate about this subject. He's defending his team, where Frank and I have a little bias against them.
I think that they are the favorite to win the American League, and next to the Dodgers, why couldn't you? I just think that they are set up to be a little bit of a home run or bust team, a little bit, with the exception of DJ and possibly Gleyber. So that would be the only concern I have about the Yankees.
And that has happened to them, where they run into Verlander and Cole in the playoffs.
They have Garrett Cole. They have Garrett Cole.
I understand that. I'm just saying in the sense that Aaron Judge and Stanton go missing because they can't hit good pitching.
That's not Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge was sick in the playoffs too.
He was sick in the playoffs?
Yes. Aaron Judge has been great in the playoffs.
That would be the only thing. It's just the one big hit. But otherwise, I just cannot see the Yankees being kept out of even the World Series, honestly.
So you're both taking the over
at
101.5. Yeah. I'm taking the under. I just think it's
Aaron Judge is raked in the playoffs.
A really high number.
If I were gambling on it, if I had to
it just seems like a safe
put money
under.
down, I would never take an over. I would never take a 100 plus over.
They've done it the past 2 years. They're gonna
no. I understand, but you got to think from a purpose of just like planning ahead and like actually like spending money. I wouldn't take this over. But since we're not spending money and we're just like guessing on what they're going to do for the season, then yes, I'm going to take the over.
So moving on to Tampa Bay, they're projected to come in second place. They're at plus 400 odds to win the American League East. You know what? They're a really good team. They surprised a lot of people last year. They got some great performances. It doesn't feel like they could really catch the Yankees. I think everything really has to break right, but they have a really good team on paper.
Yeah, they're good. I definitely respect the Rays. It's always tough to play them, but everything has to go right. I mean, they don't have that much talent.
I mean, the pitching's really good.
It's
good. Snell, Morton, Glasnow. They have other guys like Brendan McKay, Yanni Chirinos, those like fill-in guys, Jose Alvarado in the back end.
Tommy Pham,
they got rid of him.
Is well, I was about to say.
Okay,
is a perfect Ray.
I was like, oh no.
Tommy Pham is a perfect Tampa Bay Ray, and they traded him, and that kind of annoys me a little bit.
It's just how they operate.
But listen,
and it's going to work.
It's going to work. That's what I was about to say. They got Brandon Lau. He was great for my fantasy team last year. He was great for it until he went down with the injury. They just find these guys that you might not have necessarily heard of. Maybe they were a top prospect, but you're not really sure. And they make it work. And you know what? They have a great ownership and a great regime from top to bottom. So I will take the Rays to make the playoffs. I will not take them to beat the Yankees.
Yeah, Tommy Pham was probably their best hitter last season, him or Austin Meadows. They traded him for Hunter Renfroe, who's a 220 power hitter and a prospect. And everyone looks at it like, why are they doing that? But it's going to work.
He's going to bat 260 with
35
home runs,
Emilio
right?
Pagan's their closer. Really good closer. Just traded him the other day for Manny Margot and a prospect. It's
going to work.
It's a head scratcher, but you know it's going to work.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, maybe it won't one of these days.
I guess.
Well, listen, if it doesn't work, then the Yankees are going to win 110 games.
Their over-under is set at 90.5. I like that over as well, like 93-ish games for me.
Yeah, I'll take the over.
Yeah, over for me as well. Faith in the Tampa Bay Rays, which is more than I'm going to be able to say for a lot of the franchises.
Next is the Red Sox in third place, plus 800. Frank, you said you don't think they're going to be that good this season. I don't think they're going to be good, but I think they're definitely going to be wild card relevant throughout the season. I think they still have a really good lineup. The pitching is really dependent on what Chris Sale gives you at this point. Could be great, could be just non-existent. And I still like their team.
I just think that this has all the makings of a 500 ball club. I don't like their pitching at all, and we don't know what Chris Sale has left in the tank.
That's the big question.
Their relief pitch. What is going on with their relief pitching? I mean, when you look at it, their lineup is still strong. I like the Red Sox lineup. I like a few of the hitters in the lineup. I love Xander. I think he's a great player.
Xander,
JD,
JD,
obviously,
Devers.
excellent. They have a good lineup. I'm not questioning that. They're going to be able to hit the ball. But when it comes down to it, I just do not see where they're getting pitching from.
You're right about the bullpen. I forgot how bad that bullpen
Well,
they
Brandon,
have a bullpen
Brandon
last
Workman emerged as a top closer in the game last year. You got to question if that can happen again. He kind of came out of nowhere. No one really knew who Brandon Workman was prior to him.
They missed the playoffs last year, correct?
Yes.
And that was with Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
They didn't get a lot better. I would argue that they got a lot worse, right?
Yeah,
with the loss of Mookie Betts. I just can't see them being in the wild card this year if they couldn't get it last year.
Their argument will probably be injuries. They were pretty injury riddled, but
but what also nobody has dropped off. You know what I mean? Like none of those playoff teams have really dropped off of the teams that got in.
I mean, the priority for the Red Sox was getting under the luxury tax. That was their priority. So.
Right, and now they're going to have a you just got under the luxury tax type of season. In my opinion,
I don't think they're going to be good.
Their over under is set at 84.5. I think that's a really good number. I think it's going to be around.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet that. I guess I'm going to say over.
I'll take the over.
I agree with what he's saying. I would stay away from it completely, and I'm going to take the under though. I'm going to say they're an 82-win season. 82-win season for the Red Sox.
Now going to the Blue Jays, they're projected to come in fourth. The Blue Jays are really interesting. They have the really young core of hitters in Biggio, Vlad Jr., Bichette. They have some interesting outfielders like Lourdes Gurriel, Riley Grichuk. They don't really have the pitching. They tried this offseason.
They got Ryu. I don't love that fit at all.
I don't like that either. They tried. They brought in Ryu. They brought in Tanner Roark, another innings eater guy.
They got Del Reed Foley.
Chase Anderson. For me, they're obviously on the rise. You look at the team, it's like they're going to be good in the future, but they're not there yet.
Nah, yeah, they're not there. What's their number?
I don't think that the Blue Jays are going to be challenging the Yankees or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised that if a month left of the season, we're sitting there and being like, oh, like, the Blue Jays are not going to make the playoffs, but they're kind of right there. You know what I mean?
They should be enjoyable to watch.
I love the fact that they have everyone's son. They were just like, all right, well, this was a good ball player, so we're just going to take his son and hope he works out. And you know what? Kudos to them because it worked. It worked.
Candy, like you said, Hyunjin Ryu, big commitment, 4 years, $80 million for a guy that you don't really know. Like you don't really trust him in a game.
He's always hurt.
A game one of a series, or even versus the Red Sox or the Yankees this season, you don't feel good about him. Where like you should feel good about your $80 million ace.
Yeah, I don't really love that at all.
To just go on that, I'm gonna say what I said about the NBA. Going for it, trying to improve your team. I'm never gonna take a look unless it's like an awful contract where you're looking at it and you're like, you know that this isn't gonna work out. Like
I think that's what I'm saying with
like
this one.
I don't.
It feels like
I don't necessarily know that this isn't gonna work out. I could see it not working out, but I like this risk. They're a young team, maybe just trying to get some stability, build a winning culture. I actually really like what the Blue Jays are doing.
Culture's the key word.
I don't think that they're there yet. I agree with you guys, but I just love the direction that they're going. And I think Toronto is a great sports town. I mean, you look at hockey, basketball, baseball, all three of those teams always in the mix. The fans love them. So I like what they're doing a lot in Toronto.
You said culture. I think that's the key word here. They're going to have these three guys at least with Vlad, Kevin Biggio, and Bo Bichette. They want them to be at least playing competitive baseball. They don't want them to be out of it in August. That's terrible for everyone. And yeah, I think you're exactly right. The over-under is set at 74.5. I'm actually going to take the over on that. That seems pretty low, 74.5. I think they're going to win like 77 games.
I guess I got to take the under because I think 3 overs in the division already. So take the under on that.
I'll take the over on that one. I just think that there's something to be said about a young group of guys that are hungry. I think that because they're all young, that they'll gel well. They seem to be having fun in the clubhouse every time. You know, you see a you see a video of Vlad hitting a home run. Like, those guys have fun.
They're into it.
I think that helps a lot, that you're having fun and that there's a bunch of kids having fun, too. Let the kids play.
So, Frank and I take the over. Chris takes the under. And now it's the Orioles. You know, there's not a lot going on well. They took Adley Rutschman with the first overall pick. That's kind of all they have going for them right now. Anything else to really report in positive news for the Orioles?
I'll take the under.
All right, that's all you got to do.
He did not know the number, folks. He just said, I'll take the under.
You know what?
Shout out to Don, big Orioles fan.
Don does love the Orioles. It's at 56, which it's a really low number, 56 wins. But
that's high, man. What they won last year.
But I see the 4 teams above them just beating them down. Yeah. So, I'll take the under.
I think that if they were in a different division, they were in the AL West. AL Central.
The AL West.
No, I'm sorry. The AL West is going to be good. The AL Central, I would think that this is a little low. But you're right. Because I think they're running into 4 teams that are head and shoulders better than them, I'm going to have to take the under, too. One thing I will say, I hope Chris Davis hits 55 home runs this season.
It would be nice if he came back to some type of competitive.
55?
I hope. I think
Oh,
that I think that'll probably hit like 10.
7.
Wishful thinking 10.
He couldn't really play last year.
Um,
he was so bad that they couldn't play him.
But I hope, Crush. I hope you do it. Okay.
It was last year when
I'm
he finally
rooting
got
for
the hit after like 0 for like
Yeah,
50.
that was
last year. And that's tough. Former All-Star and just
There were better days for the Orioles.
lost all ability.
Before.
Trey Mancini's still there. He was an All-Star. He was a good player. Go over the AL Central now. Minnesota Twins last year surprised a lot of people, me included. They have a really good team on paper, really good lineup. They added Josh Donaldson. They added Kenta Maeda to the rotation. The pitching still seems really weak, but they're going to hit like crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna be good. I mean, they only got better. I mean, they added Maeda. I don't love Maeda, but I mean,
He'll help for
he'll
sure.
definitely help.
It was embarrassing when they played the Yankees in the playoffs and they threw out the Uber driver game too.
Yeah, I don't.
It was embarrassing.
It's true. I think they'll win the division. I don't think they'll compete with. I don't think they're really a threat in the playoffs. But I mean,
I was
they're
gonna
gonna
say
win
it
the
just
division.
shows you like
That division stinks.
the divisions and the strengths where no one thought they had a chance against the Yankees. They both won over 100 games.
Yeah,
With Minnesota, I don't even like them that much, honestly.
I like them.
They have fun players.
I just look at them and honestly, like, when there's a team you dislike as much as I dislike the Yankees, and I'm just being straight up honest, and then you go out there and you put up just a lifeless effort against that team, it's just hard for me to come back the next season and root for you. I always use the example, the Pittsburgh Steelers in football. The Pittsburgh Steelers just, the last 10 years, have just gotten absolutely demolished by the Patriots. And I'm a Jets fan, so I hate the Patriots. So I don't root for the Steelers. They're in it every year just to lose to the Patriots. If this is going to be Minnesota's in it every year just to lose to the Yankees, I think they're going to win a bunch of regular season games. I honestly could care less about the Minnesota Twins.
All right.
That's my take on the Twins.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, I do think that they're going to win a bunch of games in the regular season. I think that they'll be fine in the regular season. They're just not going to make any noise come playoff time.
I agree with that. Their lineup's sick. Their pitching's not. And that's really all it is. Their over-under set at 91.5. I think that's an easy over because of the division.
What was it?
91.5.
They won 100 last year.
Yes.
1.5. Yeah,
And they got better.
They won 100. They did get better, and nobody around them.
Division
got
probably
that
got worse.
Yeah.
Probably. Second place is supposed to be the Cleveland Indians, where they're really interesting when you look at them from top to bottom, where you never really know if they're in it or not. Last year, they opened up as the heavy favorites. Didn't really work out. They traded Corey Kluber. They traded Trevor Bauer midseason. Whole offseason, you heard Francisco Lindor's name. He didn't get traded, but that's still kind of hanging over the team. What do you guys think about the Indians?
I think Lindor's probably going to be gone by July. I'm going to take the under, whatever the number is.
It's a good number.
What is it?
85.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under there.
Really?
I just don't think they're good. And,
I mean, they have talent for sure.
Who?
Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez. I think Franmil Reyes is a good player. They added Domingo Santana, who could be a good fit. Carlos Santana's a good player.
You need two guys, right? The other
think-
guys aren't that great.
Carlos Santana's good.
I actually think that pitching wise, again, relief pitching, like
Brad Hand's a really good
okay,
closer.
Brad Hand. I'm sorry, I forgot about Brad Hand, but
You know
it
what?
takes
These
more
guys
to
all could be gone, though.
But it.
That's
Well,
what's tough about over-under.
They could be, you're
Well,
right.
that's
Because you don't know
'cause
about
they
you
could
don't
be
know who's
playing
gonna
like
trade.
all right, but
Yeah.
like know they're not making the playoffs, or like know that they're not going to have like a serious chance at the playoffs,
Yeah.
and trade off all their guys. The one thing I want to say about Cleveland is, listen, I know you're a small market team, I get it, but if you have a player that you've brought up like Francisco Lindor, that is literally the face of your franchise,
Yeah.
the face that your fan base identifies
You got
with.
to pay him whatever he wants.
Pay him what he wants because he will make you back the money in jersey sales and ticket sales.
Especially
it's
when-
going to destroy them if they
Especially
trade him.
when how lucky they got with Jose Ramirez. They got
Yeah.
him such a team-friendly deal.
You're right.
I
That's a
understand.
move.
I understand
Yeah,
you can't afford if you but Francisco Lindor is the best shortstop in the MLB, right? Am I off on that?
He's right there with Story.
Okay, so it's one or the other, right? That's a position where it actually has bloomed, right?
Yep.
But it was for so long so hard to find a good shortstop, and we don't know. Maybe it's an anomaly. Maybe that last year was just a good year for shortstops. You know what I mean? It's a tough position to find consistently, and you have a star player, a superstar player that everyone around the league love, not just your fan
I say
base.
he's already one of the
around
faces
the
of
league.
baseball.
Just do what you can to keep him. That's why I didn't understand Boston with Mookie. I get it, but also you're the Boston Red Sox,
Yeah,
and
that's
that
a bad
is
look.
your
That's a
guy.
bad look.
And I know that you want to get into luxury tax, but this is not the player to do it with.
But they tried so many times to extend Mookie, and it didn't work. And I think you have to look in the mirror and say, we can't let this guy walk for a draft pick. And if they believe Jeter Downs and Alex Verdugo can be impact players, then this is a move you have to make.
Okay, I guess I see it that way, but I just don't think that if they threw more money at him than everybody else, he would have left Boston. That's honestly me. But listen, I don't know. I'm not in the locker room.
It's
I'm
both
not
ways,
having the negotiation.
100%.
But
Both sides.
With Francisco Lindor, we haven't had that same scenario. I think that they're going to trade him. I think that that's a mistake. And because I think that they're going to trade him and wind up being sellers at the deadline, I'll also take the under on, what was it, 85.5?
85.5.
Yeah, I'll take the under on 85.5.
I'm going to take the over. They still have the pitching. They still have Clevenger, Carrasco, Savali, a couple of guys that they called up, performed at a high level. Emmanuel Clace is the guy they got for Kluber. He throws a 100-mile-per-hour cutter. Maybe he could be a nice setup man for Hand. I don't know. It's like you guys said, if they're out of it, they can definitely sell off these pieces and hit the under. But I like the over because of how bad the division is with the Tigers and the Royals. They have to beat up on someone, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's another good thing as we're going through the American League here. The AL East is actually I think going to be. I mean the Yankees are going to win it, but I actually think it's going to be like pretty competitive. I think you're going to get a lot of good games out of those series, especially ones between the Blue Jays and the Rays. This division, I'm not sure if you're going to get those same.
Well, you don't want to watch the Tigers or the Royals.
And the projected third place team is the Chicago White Sox. They made a lot of noise this offseason. They're one of those teams where they quote unquote won the offseason when they go out and just pretty much get all the big guys. They got
throw money at people.
Encarnacion, Nomar Mazara, Yasmani Grandal. They brought in some pitchers. They brought in Dallas Keuchel, Steve Cishek. And they have a nice young core to go along with that, with Eloy, with Tim Anderson, Luis Robert. I don't think they're there yet. I look at the team on paper. Their over-under right now is set at 83.5. I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I'm saying, you know what I was going to say about the White Sox? Give me them next year. I feel like a team like that always like they'll be all right this year, then next year they'll be good. Give me the under on that.
Okay, so this is going to go against what I just said about Toronto, but I think that to your point, next year, I think they just did this free agency splurge a year too early. Like if this were next year, I think like you said, they have a bunch of young players. But maybe they feel like they weren't as good as players, going to be a free agents next year. Maybe, whatever. They seize I can't knock a team trying, but at this point in time, I don't think that they are.
They're not better than the Twins.
No.
They're probably not better than the Indians, in my opinion.
No.
At the end of the day, they're going to be exciting to watch. Hopefully, the Chicago people enjoy good baseball. Great things to come.
I'm rooting for them because, honestly,
I'm rooting for them, too.
It must be insufferable to live with Cubs fans, right? Like, in the same state.
I think they might be the better team. The White Sox might be better
than
the Cubs.
No, but I'm just saying, like imagine like losing for 108 years straight and then like still being the team to beat.
Yeah.
It's probably insufferable. So Chicago, as a Mets fan, I am, and knowing what it's like to be quote unquote little brother, I am rooting for you, Chicago. I hope you prove me wrong when I say that I'm taking your under at 83.5. But let's go White Sox.
All right, well, actually, the Royals are projected a decent amount more wins than the Tigers, so they're in fourth. I guess it kind of makes some sense. The Royals have some talented players in Whit Merrifield, Hunter Dozier. It's kind of it. Jorge Soler won the home run title, but still, you don't really feel great about him repeating that. Their over-under right now is at 64.5.
Who's throwing balls for them?
Brad Keller,
Danny Duffy.
What was the number?
64.5.
Yeah, hammer that under. Whoever listens to...
No, I like that under, too. I think...
All 2 listeners are going to get to this. Hammer that under.
Frank, 64.5.
I love me some Whit Merrifield. I think actually the Kansas City Royals got a little bit better this offseason. They added Maikel Franco, and then, you know what? Never mind. I was trying to sell it.
Maikel Franco owned the Mets last season.
There you go. So if they play against the Mets, no, seriously, if anybody from the Kansas City Royals organization is listening right now, I'd like you to do me a favor. Trade Whit Merrifield to a team that can actually use him. Because he seems like such a good dude. Nobody in the MLB has more hits over the last 2 seasons than Whit Merrifield.
Who hit Merrifield?
That's a true stat.
He had that enormous hitting streak. This guy's a treasure, and he's being trapped inside what is a brutal Kansas City.
You're overselling this guy.
So,
all right, so
I just want you to trade him to somebody good.
We're all taking the under at 64.5.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
Honestly, we're going to the FanDuel Sportsbook in a few weeks, and I'm not going to make that many bets because I'm broke, but I'm going to probably put a lot of money on that under.
Okay.
I'm going to hammer that.
Detroit's supposed to come in 5th. Pretty big discrepancy from the Tigers to the Royals, which I don't really see. Their over-under set at 56.5, where the Tigers went out and they added C.J. Cron and Jonathan Scope, 2 established veterans who will probably both hit 25 to 30 home runs for them. So I kind of think they're probably better than the Royals.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay, so for
They got Del Boyd too.
Matt Boyd is on the team, not Del Boyd.
So for a few of these teams, I've asked, where are they getting their pitching from? And now I'm going to ask, in addition to where are the Tigers getting their pitching from, where are they getting any hitting from? Like, this team might not be capable.
C.J. Cronin, John Scope, and Austin Romine and Cam Maben.
I don't.
Miguel
buy it.
Cabrera is still there.
80.
He's going to
Travis
DH.
Demeritte.
They have some kids, Christian Stewart, that they hope hit.
What is
Jaime
the win
Candelario,
total? What is the
my
target
cousin.
win total right now? 56.5.
Yes.
Ronnie Rodriguez.
I think that this is the worst team in the major leagues right now.
I don't hate the take, but
I think that in terms, and when I say worst, maybe they won't win the least.
the Orioles are really bad.
Well, maybe they won't win the least amount of games, but do they have anything going for them? Like anything? Like how much money are they paying Miggy? No disrespect to Miggy.
They have some big pitching prospects, but
They do have some big pitching prospects.
they have 3 or 4 guys
That's why I'm going to take the over.
either going to come up.
Yeah, I think they're going to come up. I mean, their over-under is pretty bad.
No. 56.5 is really low, and they're gonna have games against Kansas City
That's true.
and the White Sox.
I think Kansas City is better than them. I agree with the FanDuel Sportsbook here. I think Kansas City is significantly better than them.
There's a scenario.
We should make a bet, and the loser has to go to Detroit, Kansas City.
To a Detroit Kansas City series.
That's tough.
All 3 games.
There's a
Pay for the flight,
scenario
the hotel.
where the Twins clinch this division in like late August.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
could happen.
Could happen.
if the Indians get off to a rough start, that's all it's going to take.
If they start off like 2-8, they could be looking at Lindor already.
And on the other hand, the Twins can start out 2-8 and still win the division by like July.
Easily,
So,
yep.
Greg
yeah,
Bird's up.
this is a tough.
We're watching the Rangers Mariners right now on MLB Network because we love those reruns of spring training games. And Greg Bird's up against Kikuchi.
All right, it's time for controversy. We're gonna head to the AL West.
This is going to be a fun division. I can already tell. This is going to be a fun one.
We're gonna have to start with a not fun team right now. The Houston Astros. I don't really want to. That was Chris banging. That's actually good. I enjoyed that. But I don't really want to do this whole thing with them, but we have to. I'm not going to say I'm over it, but I'm past it. I accept that it happened. It's terrible for the game. It's unfortunate, but we have to move on. Chris doesn't feel that way. He's a Yankee fan. They beat them twice. Frank's a baseball purist. He doesn't feel that way. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not excusing them. It's terrible, but it's been harped on and repeated for the last 2 months since the Athletic article dropped with Ken Rosenthal talking about Mike Byers and what happened. And I just don't want to hear about it anymore.
I mean, they cheated. They won the World Series. So you're going to hear about it.
And I believe they should have been stripped of the title, but they weren't. So let's just move on, pretend like it didn't happen.
So
No, the players have to deal with it. They should have to
Maybe-
get asked questions of it every series.
So maybe this is me just being like a weirdo. I don't know. I don't want to hear. I agree with Mark. I could care less about what the players have to say about it anymore. Now I want to see the actions of what happens. I want to see. I'm very interested in how the fans in their own building react. How the fans in other series react. We know they're gonna boo.
Well, they're going to boo on their
We know-
own and get cheered at
We
home.
know, but I want to see some creative sign or something like that. One where they're not going to get taken away because the away stadiums, hopefully, fingers crossed, are not going to, take the fan sign away like they did at
won't.
their own. I don't think they
No.
will. So now, fans, it's on you to be creative, and you know what? I think they do deserve. They didn't get punishment from the MLB, so what they're about to get from other players, I don't like using a 100-mile-an-hour fastball as a evener.
Retaliation.
That to me does not sit right with me. But you also have to understand that this is baseball, and that's kind of just the way that things get done. But fans, it's on you to punish them. The Houston Asterisks, that's hysterical. I love that stuff. You should bring the trash cans, and you should bang every time because the MLB didn't punish them the right way. There's no question about that. They deserved more.
Yeah, they only gave them nothing.
The MLB gave them nothing. The MLB did nothing.
There's going to be legitimate intrigue around the Houston Astros all season long. Every single time there's a series going on, you're going to want to tune in and say, hey, a fight could happen at any moment. Someone could be thrown at any moment. And there's something to that in terms of just entertainment, but that's not really the proper word, but it is. I think that's a big reason why they didn't get the penalties everyone felt like they did, because Houston is going to be entertaining.
We as human beings love boxing. We love UFC. We like watching people get beat up. Again, it doesn't sit right with me that a 100-mile-an-hour fastball is going to be the thing that might, that's a lot.
I think if it's to the ribs, it's fine. You don't go for the head.
If anything goes at the head, that pitcher's a low life because then you're messing with someone's possible life. Not
That's what
if you go at Astros players, if you go at their backside or whatever, that's that's not okay.
Based
Again,
on what the
like
comments, what they said, Alex Bregman might deserve a fastball to the ribs.
if you go
He might.
if you go to a player's head,
What do you mean he might? He
that's
does.
not okay. I listen. They did a bad thing, but you don't meet cheating with actually injuring somebody. That's not okay.
Their over-unders had 94.5. I think that's a really good number. It was around 100 like recently, a couple weeks ago, so they brought it down a little bit. They lost Garrett Cole. We don't know how good their hitters are now. We really don't, but we still think they're probably mostly good for the most part. Bregman, Correa, Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, George Springer. I'm probably taking the over at 94.5. Really close to me, though.
I'm going to take the under just because it's going to be a lot to deal with, I think.
Media-wise and just
Yeah, I think
overall.
they're going to crack.
Okay, so I'm actually
They're already cracking. These
Yeah.
quotes are borderline hysterical.
They're not doing a good job.
I'm really torn on this because on the one hand, I'm thinking that this might bond them together as a team so strongly.
Like a rally cry.
I could listen. If this season ended with the Houston Astros holding up the World Series, as messed up as that would be, I could see it. You know what I mean? Like
It's in the realm of possibility.
Their
for sure.
rotation is so bad.
listen,
That's true.
but what's to stop them to make a deadline deal that'll help that? You know what I
Who
mean?
you going to get?
It's really not easy to find that big picture.
That's not. You can't do that like right now.
Why not?
Well, who are they going to get? I don't know who's going to be sellers and who's going to be buyers. So
They have Verlander and Zach Greinke, who are two established veterans who are
Right.
very good, but they're also old. And then they have kids like Urquidy, Josh James. They have Lance McCullers coming back from Tommy John. There's a lot of question marks after the two veterans.
So yeah, I think again, you need three good starters in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
So if they could pick up one more, I think they're going to do plenty that they can to get into the postseason. I know we want to hate on Altuve and Bregman, but they are good players, or at least I'm pretty sure that they are. I'm pretty sure that they are good
I
players.
don't know that.
Listen, I'm gonna take the under for the season,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say that they are an absolute contender for the World Series this year, and I think that it's going to be because of what's going to happen to them over the course of the regular season. I think that these guys are going to become... Look, you already see Correa, though he was wrong with everything that he said, he stuck his neck out for Altuve. They're already bonding together. You can already tell.
Yeah.
There's a sense of teamwork there, and, it's built out of something that's bad, and this should never be used as the example to build a team. You could tell that they might be stronger after all of this. So
right.
I'm taking the under, but by a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're going to be around.
it's gonna be close,
It's going to be
for
very
sure.
close. I wouldn't touch this if I were betting actual money.
Oakland is supposed to come in second place. I love Oakland. I think Oakland's going to win this division, actually. Probably the first hot take, really, that we've come out.
I think we all agree. I think this is an Oakland-friendly podcast. I'm going Oakland's winning the West, too.
I love the Oakland Athletics.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Those
all right, so not a hot
those corners.
take. Matt Olson, Matt Chapman.
Do you have two more do you have a more likable duo in the league?
Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. But
I mean,
we'll
we
talk
can get
about it.
there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But Marcus Semion's a short. He established himself as a legitimate stud. I don't know, like the juice balls. We got to hope he does it again. But he seems like he's a real player now. We got guys like Chris Davis who are in a good position to bounce back. Steve Piscotty, Marcana. Like, it's just a really good lineup. The pitching's great, too.
Yeah, Luzardo. Puck's going to be coming out of the pen.
Frankie Montes coming back from
Frankie Montes.
his suspension. They just have a lot of guys who throw really
Mike
hard.
Fires.
Mike
Mike Fiers, he's gonna eat innings.
Listen, Mike Fiers had a great season last
Sean
season.
Manaea, when he pitched the wild card game.
Manaea.
But yeah, I like the over on this one, especially because I said that the Astros are going to be the... Listen, I don't know who's going to win this division. I honestly don't. I think I'm leaning towards the Astros, but I would not be shocked if the A's won. Like, I would not be shocked at all. It's like a 60-40 type of thing for me.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet a lot of money that whoever doesn't is absolutely a wild card team. And that's with Tampa Bay almost being a lock as a wild card team, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I think Tampa Bay and whoever loses this division is going to be the second wild card team.
Oakland and Tampa
Safe
Bay
bet.
could definitely be the wild card
The
again.
question is who's going to be the third wild card team when they expand the playoffs? So
We're not there yet. We don't have to worry about that.
Well, who's going to be the fourth and fifth, too, when he
So Oakland's over-under set at 89.5. We're all taking the over.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I'll take the over.
All right, that was nice and easy. Now over to the Angels. Angels, you know what? They're enjoyable. They're cool. They have Mike Trout. They needed pitching more than anything, and they went and got Anthony Rendon, who doesn't pitch. He's amazing. He's one of the better hitters in the league, top 20, but they don't have a rotation. They
I don't really know what they're doing. I really don't. Like, they're trying to...
They got Dylan Bundy and Julio Teheran trying to help out.
It doesn't make any sense.
Otani's great, but when's he going to pitch? Probably June.
You got the best player in baseball in the past whatever year, maybe ever, and, like, they're just not doing anything about it. I mean, Rendon's really good. I love Rendon, but I mean, they need pitching.
They're going to score runs for sure.
Again, anytime a team makes themselves clearly better,
Yeah, but they didn't do what they should have done.
No, they didn't. But anytime a team will go out, spend money, make themselves better, I cannot knock it. And the Angels absolutely made themselves better. There's no question. Anthony Rendon makes you a better team.
Yeah, no doubt.
They have Shohei. They're gonna hit.
And they were in on Garrett Cole. They tried their best.
They tried. There's no question about it. But listen, when it came down to it, Garrett Cole can choose between a guaranteed chance to make the World Series or a
project.
Listen, I wish they would put more around Mike Trout. It seems like every year that they try and miss. This year they tried and hit. So hopefully good things to come. What is their over-under?
85.5.
Under.
I'm going to take the under.
I'll take the over.
Really?
I don't really have a lot to back this up, but I just think that lineup is going to be sick, and I don't think the American League is that good. I think we've gone over all the best teams in the American League. They're going to run into some problems, obviously. They play in a good division. That's what's going against them. But I think that they're going to beat up on the bad teams as much as all the good teams are going to beat up on the bad teams.
Yeah, but that division's not bad, though. Like,
even
but Seattle's terrible.
Texas will hold their own.
Texas and Seattle, listen, I think that they're a lot better than Texas. I don't think
like the same.
I think the trade that the Angels management nixed could really hurt them. They would have got Ross Stripling and Jock Peterson would have been really helped this team.
Jock would have been awesome on this team.
He would have really helped. Stripling would have been there probably 1 or 2.
I don't know why they big league the Dodgers on that because it's taking too long.
Again, maybe they float around 500, bring in a pitcher, but
who are these pitchers you want to bring in?
Listen, there's always guys available at the deadline.
Are they good?
They're usually all right.
Alex Cobb,
Marcus Stroman last year. We meant to pick up Marcus Stroman.
Isn't good.
We'll get there.
Marcus Stroman's all right.
Marcus Stroman.
You don't get Marcus Stroman at the deadline. It's like, all right, we're good now. You know what I mean?
No, but you get him as the third pitcher.
No, you
don't.
I guess
I'm taking the under at 85.5. So is Chris.
I'll take the
Frank's
over.
taking the over. He's rooting for Trouty. We
I'm
all love Trout, but we don't feel good about it.
I like Anthony Rendon. I feel like he's probably a good dude. I have no evidence to support that. By the way.
All right, go over to Texas Rangers now. I'm just going to stop you right there.
We're not getting to the personal.
You know what? They really improved their rotation. They brought in Jordan Lyles, had a nice season. Corey Kluber, who we're not 100% sure what he is at this point, but we know what he was. And then Kyle Gibson, who always has really good peripherals. He doesn't really translate well to on the field, but his FIP's always really good. He's a high K per 9. Maybe he can figure it out in Texas to go along with Lance Lynn and Mike Minor, who had great years. The lineup's not good. They were talking about getting all these guys, Nick Castellanos, Anthony Rendon. They were linked to everyone. They got Todd Frazier.
Hey, man, I like Todd.
That's fine. You can like Todd. He's a great guy, but he's not good at baseball anymore.
I mean, come on. Give him a break. He's going on a launching pad.
It's a new stadium.
Still a launching pad.
Is it?
Yeah, it's hot in there.
Okay. Elvis Andrus is declining. Rougned Odor was kind of never good except for the 1.5 year.
Joey Gallo.
What do you have against the Rangers? You used to wear a Ranger hat to school every day.
I just don't think they're good. Do you think they're good?
No.
Okay.
Joey Gallo strikes out every at bat.
He strikes out all the time. He's home run or bust.
It's either home run or strikeout.
Chin-Soo Choo's a good player, but he's older now. I think Nick Solak is actually pretty good. He's young.
I like Willie Calhoun.
I like Willie Calhoun too. That's a good point. Traded from the Dodgers for the Darvish trade. Trying to think who plays center field for them. Denny Santana was a nice surprise.
He had a good year.
He probably won't be good again. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Sorry. Juice balls. Nick Solak, my guy.
Who's saying the balls aren't going to be juiced this
year?
They
might be.
They might be.
They weren't juiced in the postseason, so I assume they won't be anymore.
We'll see.
That might be the wrong assumption. No one knows.
I'm not in on the Rangers. I think that they're just such a meh team. And honestly, there are some teams where they have cool young players you can get behind. Like the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have a lot of cool young players that you can get behind. Nobody on Rangers that does that for me. No. I think a lot of people like Joey Gallo because he just mashes the ball, but it's not my kind of player.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
It's 78.5, which seems pretty high. I'm taking the under for sure.
That's a unanimous decision because I'm also on the under for the Texas Rangers.
It's a high number. Wow. Seattle Mariners, 66.5. Feels like an under.
That's an under, man. That's another one that I'm not a betting man, but I'm going to hammer that under.
Yeah, Marco Gonzalez, Yusei Kikuchi.
The division's good, too.
The division is good. Don't really have a major league caliber player in the lineup. Dan Vogelbach hit 30 home runs, but he hit 220.
They're one of those teams where it's are they going to be favorites any night of the week? Okay, probably not. They're
probably
going to go for 3 weeks span.
I like Mitch Haniger.
Every game.
Yeah, no, they probably will. I like Mitch Haniger. He probably won't play this season.
Is Mitch Haniger healthy? Because there was a lot of
he's had 5 surgeries already. He's not going to come back till at least mid-season.
He definitely had a painful injury.
Yeah, you don't want to see that as a guy. You
He
don't wanna
ruptured
see
his
that.
testicle.
He ruptured his testicle, for those of you that don't know.
But then he had a core problem and a back problem. He's had multiple surgeries.
So that kind of concerns me.
For sure.
But yeah, honestly, even if he was fully healthy, I would still take the under because the rest of the team is terrible.
Yeah, it's-
He can only drive in himself at that point. You know what I
Kyle
mean?
Seager.
Kyle Seager, yeah.
He's still on that team. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. Take the under. Don't expect much from the Seattle Mariners until Jared Kelly comes up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go over to the National League now. The NL East is really interesting because there's 4 teams trying really hard to win, and then there's the Marlins who are rebuilding but doing it properly, and it looks like they're getting there. They're making strides. I think they're going to be a lot better this season.
They're doing. They're not trying to win, but they made some moves. They got
For
some-
sure. They added some guys. We'll get to them at the
got some
bottom.
pros.
The first team is the Atlanta Braves. They won the division last year. Chris, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think Frank and I are in agreement that any of the 3 teams in Mets, Braves, Nationals can win this division.
Yeah, I would definitely lean towards the Braves, but just because the talent wise. But I mean, I honestly don't really watch NL that much. To be honest,
I think the Braves lineup's really great with Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies. I think they added Marcell Ozuna, but they lost Josh Donaldson. I think that's a loss overall, but not a huge loss. Their pitching's not great. Mike Folty, they got some guys, but they got some young guys, but I don't love it.
So I'm gonna have sort of a hot take here. I would prefer the Mets and the Nationals over the Braves right now, and that's because as teams, as far as baseball, right? It's a team sport. Those teams are head and shoulders more complete than this team.
I don't know about that.
Listen,
the Braves have a lot more talent, I think. Than
I
both of them.
only in the lineup. Only in the lineup.
Which is big.
You look at the rope, yeah, but it's not enough in the lineup for me to be
They got
like
Acuna and Freeman. That's
Acuna and Freeman are great players, but two hitters do not make in a lineup. And I know you're gonna say Ozzie Albies and all these guys. They have a good lineup. I'm not lying. I'm not disagreeing with that. I also think that the Mets have a good lineup, and I also think that the Nationals have a good lineup. But the Mets and the Nationals both have. Well, the Nationals have great starting pitching, and I'm pretty sure the Mets have really good starting pitching. The Nationals bullpen concern. Well, we'll get there. I know. I just think that in terms of, I think that those other 2 teams are way more complete than the Braves, and that's what scares me about the Braves. But I do know that their lineup is going to win them a boatload of games this season.
It's also really interesting. Their over-under is set at 90.5, which they're supposed to win the division with a 90.5 over-under.
Well, listen, this
No,
division
exactly.
is going to be hard. Every night you're going to war in this division because we say that there are 3 teams that are winning the division, but the Phillies are all in too.
I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to win around like
I'll go
92,
the over
93.
on that.
I'll take the under.
Okay. Second place is supposed to be the defending champion Washington Nationals. For me, the Nationals obviously have the great pitching. I think a legitimate concern with the pitching is, if you remember a few years ago when the Red Sox won the World Series, they used a lot of their starters in relief throughout the playoffs, and I think it caught up to them as they pitched an extra month this season. They came to spring training. They were kind of handled with kid gloves, babied, but there could be a legitimate lasting effect on Max Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin.
Yeah, it could. I'm definitely the least concerned out of Scherzer out of those 3 because Scherzer's just a dog. But
He's
the other 2,
35 and he was broken down last year.
Yeah, it's still Scherzer. I think he's fine.
All right.
Strasburg's always hurt. Corbin, I don't know.
He
Never
just got a
seen it.
fat extension, Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, he did.
For the Nationals, I think honestly I really like that number in terms of like what I think that they're going to do. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be
What is the number?
88.5.
88.5. Yeah, I think that that's like a perfect number because I think all 3 of these teams, 90 wins is just the mark, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 teams might get there, but not all 3 of them are going to because they play each other, right? It would be really hard.
They lost Anthony Rendon. He was their best player. I don't think they did enough to fill the void. They brought in guys like Starlin Castro, Dribble Cabrera, Eric Thames, who are all like solid role players and are good major league veterans at this point, but they can't put Anthony Rendon's production together.
I just think that again, when it comes to it, they are more complete than the Braves. The Braves do have a better lineup. There's no question about it. But I think, well, I don't know what the Nats have coming out of the bullpen too, but at least in starting pitching, I could see a series where the Braves and the Nats match up in those 1-2-3s, and that's it. It's over before it starts because the Nats are like good hitters, but they can pitch.
2 years though. I mean, like they're still like amazing. Like they're really good. The Braves.
I just don't. I think that the division is catching up to the Braves. I think that the Nationals started to catch up in the second half of last season. They came on really strong. Remember, they didn't have a great first half. I think that the Mets came on really strong against the second half of the season, and now I think the Phillies are. I think they're the worst out of the four for sure, but they are going for it 100%. So I think when it comes down to it, the division is catching up with the Braves. They lost, and I think other teams have gained or stayed the same. But it's interesting because the Braves lost Donaldson, and the Nats have lost Rendon, and obviously Rendon's a better player than Donaldson, but Donaldson was still really good for the Braves. So the two teams perceivably at the top of this division are losers of the summer. Of the offseason to some extent.
I'm going to take the under, 88.5. I don't love the lineup. The rotation is good, but I have my questions, and the bullpen is Sean Doolittle.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
I'll also take the under.
All right, now, so New York Mets. Every year, I was really frustrated with this offseason as a Mets fan because last year they won 86 games. They were in it till the end pretty much for the wild card. Milwaukee went 15-2 or something ridiculous to steal the last spot. But it really felt like this was the offseason to pounce and to really, I don't know if Garrett Cole was the guy, but add a Rendon, add a impact player that could really put them over the top. And they didn't do that. Their only really significant move was Dellin Betances, who could be amazing, but there's a lot of question around him. And they only made that move because Yoenis Cespedes fought a bore and they got some financial compensation. They had guys like Jake Marisnick, Rick Porcello, Michael Wacha, who could be good depth, but it's not the moves you want to see your 86-win team get.
Yeah, they're pretty much running about the same team, right?
No, for the most part. They had some really poor performances that you don't foresee happening again in Noah Syndergaard, Jurius Familia, Edwin Diaz especially. But it's a lot of what-ifs, which is kind of the Mets.
Yeah.
The Mets, that's the thing, right? For the last how many years now, we've been what-ifs, right? We've listened to what if. Listen, if everything goes right for the Mets,
they're going to be great. No,
if everything goes right for the Mets, they're a 95-win team.
For sure.
If Cespedes comes back and is like a shell of his former self, to add to the lineup, you look at the Mets lineup up and down. Again, we're Mets fans, so we're always going to value it in front of it.
If Cano can bounce back.
But not even the ifs. J.D. Davis, Ahmed Rosario, Michael Conforto, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil. 5 solid hitters.
Yep.
Solid hitters. And for those of you that don't know about Jeff McNeil, I like to think that he's the MLB's best kept secret. He is a top hitter in baseball.
He's an all-star. He's
a top hitter in baseball, and he's getting better, too.
Wilson Ramos is a solid hitting catcher, and then you hope Cano does something. But
the way I look at it is Cano, J.D. Davis, and Cespedes are all going to be some form of a platoon, obviously, in the 3 different spots, third base, left field, and second base. If they get production out of Cano and Cespedes, this is the best team in the National League.
Who's a bigger X factor?
I'm sorry, the National League East, excuse me.
Who's a bigger X factor for the Mets this season? Noah Syndergaard or Edwin Diaz? Either of you, both of you.
That's a really tough question. I think Edwin Diaz can pitch more than once every 5 days, so I'm going to say Edwin Diaz because if he can, think about it, he had the most brutal season last season.
He has to be better.
Yeah.
He has to be.
And they won 80. We are talking about a team that won 86 games last season. Things just need to bounce a little right for them, and they're a 90-win team. A little bit right. They just need to stay a little bit healthy. I'm not saying that they're world beaters, that they're going to go on and win the World Series, but this team should, and again, maybe it's me being a Mets fan, but I just feel like this team, what we've seen from the guys that are on the roster, they should, the bullpen, there's no way it can be as bad as it was. And I actually think that the Mets bullpen is kind of good. I can't believe I just said that out loud.
No, I think so too.
I think that they had a lot of bad bounces. I think that Familia came in not punting the season, but maybe he didn't come as ready. And I think that those guys in the bullpen feel like they have a lot to prove. I think they have a bunch of talent in that bullpen. It's just got to bounce the right way, and it's got to bounce the right way one of these days. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wishful thinking, but they have the over/under here set at 87.5, and I'm going to take the over. I'm going to believe in the New York Mets, which is something I don't think I've said in a really long time.
I'm taking the over as well. I think they're a 90-win team. Chris?
I'll take the under on that.
Yeah.
Nice and hard.
Appreciate it, Chris. Go over to the Phillies. I hate the Phillies. Every year they just talk about how good they are. They never are. Since the Ryan Howard era, they just haven't been good, and they're always hyped up. It bothers me. They brought in Zach Wheeler from the Mets. They gave him a gross amount of money. He's not worth that. They brought in Didi Gregorius from the Yankees. They brought in Joe Girardi, formerly from the Yankees as well. They have a good lineup. They have Bryce. They have Realmuto.
Yeah, I mean, they're going for it. I mean, they can't really get any worse than last year. Last year was kind of a huge letdown. The division's tough. Aaron Nola had a bad year. Maybe he'll bounce back and have a good year, and they'll be better. Zach Wheeler, I'm not really high on.
It's 85.5.
85 point. That's like right about where I would think.
I like the under.
So I'd probably take the under. I don't know. I think the Braves are going to win the division. But it's going to be like pretty even division, like with like the 80 whatever teams. I think the Braves probably win somewhere around 95, and everyone else probably win around like
high 80s.
Yeah, high 80s.
Okay.
I'm going to take the over for the Phillies.
At 85.5?
Yeah, I realize that it's like a long shot, but I think I just think that this division, you're going to war in this division. There's no days off because like we're going to talk about Miami in a second, and well, they're not good and they should be the easy win. It's not an easy win by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
I think that the teams with the most depth and the most go-to are going to be the teams that wind up prevailing in this division because it's going to be a war every night. There's no easy games on in this divisional schedule. And I don't know. I took the under for both the Nationals and the Braves, so someone's got to win those games. So I'm going to take the over for the Phillies, and I want to see a division where all four of them are really good and competing till the very end, and obviously having the Mets win out. But I think that this division is going to be the most fun in baseball, and I think it's the best division in baseball because of how competitive it is.
Last is the Marlins. They're supposed to. Well, their over under says 64.5. I like that over a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
I like that over too. They won around that last year.
And they went out.
Better.
They did some things. They brought in Jesus Aguilar, Jonathan Villar, Corey Dickerson, 3 established, talented MLB veterans.
I think they got
the
better.
younger guys are getting better. They have
pitching's pretty good.
Good pitching staff. I think they should have kept Zach Gallen. I didn't love that trade, but maybe Jazz Chisholm turns out to be a great player. Unclear. Frank, 64.5.
I'll take the over too. It's just such a low number that even if you don't really believe in the team, if you don't think that they're going to be pounded by the top teams in their division, I don't think they're going to be pounded by the top teams in their division. That's a low number. I'll take the over.
NL Central is really tough. It's Cardinals, Brewers. It's pretty much everyone but the Pirates when you look at it now. Right? Everyone has a legitimate chance but the Pirates. The Cardinals are listed as the favorite right now. I don't know. It's it's the Cardinals. They're listed at 86.5. That's crazy. That's their division winner. 86.5.
That's really weird.
That's crazy.
Think about this.
I'm not even like opposed to that.
Of the four NL East teams, the Phillies were listed at 85.5. They were
for fourth place. Yep.
So they're projecting the Cardinals to do a game better. I think you could easily see. First of all, I think you could easily see 2 playoff spots come out of the NL East, and if not, this division is not getting one.
The Cardinals kind of did nothing. When you look at it, they lost Marcell Ozuna, didn't really replace him too well.
It's a miracle they got to where they did. I'm going to say it.
Yeah,
it's a miracle they got to where they did.
Jack Flaherty went on a run.
The Dodgers, I know they didn't play them, but they are the choke artists of the century. I know they lost to the defending World Series champs, but they shouldn't have. They were the better team. They should have beaten the Cardinals.
We're talking about the Dodgers.
Well, I'm saying that they should have beaten the Cardinals.
No, the Cardinals beat the Braves.
No. I'm saying that they should have beat the Nationals, and they should have beaten the Cardinals. And they should have went to the World Series again, but they choked. And
that's so many should haves.
You got that. You got the Nationals. And also the Braves should have beaten them too. I mean,
they're not good. I know
they're just a bad team.
86.5. I'm taking the under.
I'm sorry, you can't come in with their roster and then have Paul Goldschmidt have a down year. And, there's just nothing.
I'm worried about Paul Goldschmidt. I think he might be done.
I think he's done too.
Not done, but not
done
good.
being a star.
Yes.
No, I'm going to take the over. Screw it.
Oh.
Change it.
You care to elaborate?
Just someone's got to win games that division.
I like the Reds. I like the Cubs more than the Cardinals.
I also like the Cubs.
I don't like the Cubs at all.
Really?
I don't like the Brewers either.
I don't love the Brewers.
I love the Brewers.
So I think I'm taking the
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
So there's
a lot over on the Cardinals.
I'll take the under on the Cardinals.
I will also. Over the Cubs. I get why you don't love the Cubs, but they still have a really good lineup. Anthony Rizzo.
They're just weird.
Chris
They're
Bryant, Javi Baez, Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras. They have Ian Happ, Nico Horner, some of those role player young kids who could be good, but they don't really have anyone to pitch, which is a legitimate concern. You Darvish had a really nice season. John Lester's kind of washed now. Quintana's all right. He's not really anything special. Their number is set at 85.5. I feel like you got to take the over.
No, I'm taking the under.
I'll take the over. I just think
they're gonna be bad.
They just have a core that's been there for a while, and I think that's understated in sports today. Like having a core of guys that can do it together for a long time. So I like Brian Rizzo. Taking that team. All they have to do is win like 88 games. I shouldn't say all, but like when you think about baseball, that's like a little bit more than half. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think they have a talented roster or a talented lineup, I should say. Again, the winner of this division is going to be who can fill in the blanks the best because they all have blanks in different areas, right? So it's going to be who can fill in those spots the best, maybe from the minor leagues, maybe through trades. We don't really know. But I think that the Cubs have good ownership, good management. I think that's going to help them out in the long run here. I think that they're going to go over that 85.5.
All right, so Frank and I take the over. Chris takes the under. Cincinnati Reds had a really active offseason. I'm actually really for what they did. I think they addressed some serious issues that they had. I love their rotation. You look at their rotation, Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, Wade Miley, really solid. Lineup, they had Castellanos, Akiyama, and they already had Eugenio Suarez. They have some players there. I think the Reds at 85.5 is an over.
Yeah, I'm taking that over too. I'm going to do it because I like them, and I'm doing it for Linz too. I know he's a big Reds guy.
Yeah.
So I think, and the division's bad. I think they could win the division. I think it's going to be them and the Cardinals at the end of the day. And yeah, I like what they got going over there.
Have the Reds ever really been a good team in our lifetime?
2012. They were the
Joey
ones.
Votto, Brandon Phillips, they were really
And
good.
they were up
Jay
2-0
Bruce.
against the Giants, and then they had
show.
3 home
Alright.
games in a row.
So
Johnny Cueto.
I don't know. I don't love the Reds lineup. I think they have a lot of juice ball hitters.
All right, but again, we don't know if the balls are juiced.
That's true. We don't know.
I think
that's what I'm saying. I think they have a lot of juice balls hitters.
I think Eugenio Suarez is a good hitter.
I will decline to comment on Eugenio
I think
Suarez because
you know-
I know Mark loves Eugenio Suarez, and I don't want to.
It's just factual at this point.
But
He might not be a 50 homer guy, but Eugenio Suarez, Nick Castellanos, these guys are good established
I
baseball.
feel like Eugenio Suarez is like, oh, we're playing the Reds, we can take it easy today, and then
Nick
Eugenio
Senzel.
takes them yard.
You don't hit 50 home runs by accident.
Nick Senzel.
There are
Nick
people who've
Senzel's
done it.
supposed to be very good. Aquino, like you said, Jesse Winker is supposed to be good. They have a lot of guys. He's a Red Sox.
They have potential. But
Joey Votto might bounce back.
When did Jose Brazzo go to the Red Sox?
This offseason, the Red Sox signed him.
I'm
He's a
gonna.
free agent.
They non-tendered him.
Oh, they non-tendered him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm gonna take the under on the Reds because I like the Cubs and I like the Brewers, and so I'm taking 2 overs and 2 unders, and I'll take the Reds as the under.
All right, we'll transition to the Brewers. What do you like about the Brewers?
Christian Yelich.
That's kind of it.
Well, yeah.
Legitimately. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
even,
I mean, like.
they have Hader, Yelich, and role players.
Yeah, I mean, they've managed to make it work for.
They
almost managed to
They
make
had
it worse last year.
Grandal. They had better players. They let a lot of guys walk. They really have like a whole new roster. They traded Grisham. They traded one of their pitchers. I don't love it.
It's a fair take for sure.
Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun are older now. It's just,
I don't think they've changed enough for me to be like, okay, like
Well, I think last year was just like a thing. Like they like kind of fell off last year.
Yeah, well, they fell off towards the end when Yelich
they got
hurt.
hot towards the end.
they won out the last 2 weeks to get the wild card. It was crazy without Yelich.
Oh, that's right. They did get the wild
And
card.
they had the
What
wild
was I
card.
thinking?
They had the wild card game 1 until Hader blew it.
Who did they were in the playoffs the year before too, right?
They had Game 7 at home and they lost.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that if Christian Yelich gets back, fine, then the Brewers are gonna be back fine. I think he's the heartbeat of the team, and
I think they gotten a lot worse than that though.
you can strip parts away, but the heart's gonna keep beating. So as long as the heartbeat is fine,
They got like
it makes sense in my head.
They have like Eric Sogard starting. and
Listen, you guys are
not
trying to
know
talk
that.
me out of it, but you gotta
White
just
Sox.
at a certain point you gotta just have a feeling about teams, and I have a good feeling about the Brewers.
I think 83.5 is a good number, but I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I'm taking the under too.
I'll take the over.
It's weird.
Who's going to pitch?
You gonna pitch?
Listen, if they
Woodruff?
asked me to pitch, I would consider it.
All right.
Mike.
The Pirates are really bad.
All right, under.
They're going to come in last. It's at 69.5. They have Josh Bell and Brian Reynolds. So that's pretty much it in terms of the lineup. They have some good pitching. I think Mitch Keller's going to be very good. Chris Archer is pretty bad, but maybe he turns it around. Probably not. Joe Musgrove. So they have some intriguing arms, but at the end of the day, they're going to get blown out most nights.
Yeah, I mean, I always like the Pirates. I just love watching them play an extra.
I mean, they are fun with McCutcheon and those guys.
I love that. I love that stadium. I love their announcers.
PNC is beautiful.
PNC's nice.
It's a nice
They
place.
got the organ going in the background. It's fun. But, I mean, they're bad.
You take the under at 69.5.
So here's my thing about the Pirates. Of all these like really bad teams that were like top heavy, this one is not. Like the thing is like none of these teams like head and shoulders like so good where I'm like, oh, like they are definitely going to beat the Pirates. Like the Yankees are definitely going to go into Baltimore opening day and just crush the soul of the Baltimore Orioles. It's going to be a movie scene. If Pittsburgh won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, I would not be surprised at all. You know what I mean? Like if
on any given day, but
well,
I mean,
it's just to me.
Over the course of the
there's
season,
like discrepancies. And
I don't think Pittsburgh's as bad as I thought they were.
This one's actually really tough for me. I'll stick with the under.
I'm surprised it's as high as it is.
But I'm not comfortable with it because I think they could easily win 72 or 73 games in this terrible division.
That's 72 and 90. That's not a good year.
I'm not saying they're a good
team.
team.
That's the over. Yeah.
But okay, so here's the point that I'm trying to make. I guess one of these teams, Brewers, Reds, Cubs. Who am I missing? Brewers, Reds, Cubs, Cardinals. One of them is a big pretender, like a big time pretender.
They all are.
Well, they might all be.
They could all win like 80 games.
One of them is going to be under 80 games. You know what I mean? Like one of them is going to miss. No. One of those 4 teams is going to miss badly. Maybe the Pirates make up for it. I'm going to take the under, but I'm not confident in it.
All right, go over the NL West now. I mean, it's pretty boring every year. The Dodgers usually clinch by August. They went out and they got Mookie Betts to add to this team. Didn't need that. No one needed that. They already won the division. Like, literally, it's pretty much over. What do you got to say about the Dodgers?
Yeah, take the over and take the division.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like betting on 100-win teams, but yeah, I mean, you can't really get much better than this.
It's 101.5, same as the Yankees.
So,
it's the over.
The Dodgers, I want to, like, attack a certain part of the Dodgers, but, like, I can't really seem to find something to, like, be like, okay, well, this could lose them a bunch of games.
Maybe the bullpen.
I would say the relief pitching
really
is
matter.
not sound, which might be a problem for them in the postseason.
Yeah.
But for the regular season,
It always is.
for the regular season, they're just going to win a bunch of games, and it's probably going to be, yeah. I'll take the over for the Dodgers, especially because it's division too.
That movie's crazy. You play your division teams like 19 times.
I'll take the over as well. Chris, over.
Yeah, over.
Second place is supposed to be Arizona. Is over under is 84.5. So they're expecting 101 to 84.5, which, yeah, that checks out. I'm going to take the over in Arizona. I actually like what they did. I think they have some nice pieces. They brought in Starling Marte, Madison Bumgarner. I think they have a good team.
I'm taking the over, too. I like Ketel Marte a lot.
You think he's legitimate? You think he has another nice season?
I think he's legit, yeah. I always liked him. But yeah, I think they'll be the over. The division's bad. They've got some talent going on over there.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, too. I see them winning a lot of games against the Rockies and other teams, and Padres.
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much hit it on the head. They've worked to improve, which is not something you could say anybody below them did. And yeah, I mean they're clearly, Dodgers aside, the most solid lineup, the most solid team in this division, and they're going to beat up on the other teams. So yeah, I'll take the over too. I don't think they're going to crush the over. I just think when it comes down to it, they're going to win like 86 games.
Yeah,
for sure. So, but yeah, I'll take the over for them.
Third place supposed to be the Padres. I, on record, strongly dislike the Padres. I think they're another team similar to Philly where they get all this hype every year and they never meet it. They ran out guys like Austin Hedges, Manny Margot. They finally traded Margot like every year expecting different things to happen. I thought the Eric Hosmer deal was terrible. I just don't like the team. They're 82.5. I'm going to take the under.
82.5. It's tough. That's a good number. I'm going to go over.
Okay.
I'm also going to take the over. I actually like the Padres. I like what they did this offseason. They brought in Tom Pham, the perfect Ray. And I just think that, again, another team, well, they don't do it the right way. They're always constantly trying to make moves to make themselves better. You got to respect that.
It's Preller, man.
I'm rooting for you, San Diego. Obviously not over the Mets, but any other team, I'm rooting for you, San Diego. You tried to make yourself better.
Manny Machado, is he done, Candy?
No, Manny Machado's not done.
Fourth place, Colorado Rockies. They did not make a move in the offseason, literally. They did not.
They got good headlines for signing Nolan to an 8-year extension and bashing him and trying to trade him right now.
The whole offseason was trying to trade Nolan Arenado. They did not bring in one player. Coming off a really disappointing year following making the playoffs. And 73.5. It's so random with the Rockies because they could have a great year or a terrible year based on how they perform on the road. They always win games at home. Probably take the over. I think they're going to win like 75 games.
I'm going to take the under. Just got to the over on the other 3, so I
Right.
think they're going to beat up on.
I agree honestly with both of you are saying. I have taken the over on all 3, but I just think 73 is so low.
That is low. I can see them
Colorado.
winning. I wouldn't bet on this.
You look at the lineup up and down. They still have Trevor Story, Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon. That's going to win them a bunch of games at home.
Yeah,
those guys mash, and they mash at Coors Field too. Those are 3 good quality players. I know 3 players can't make a lineup, but they sure as hell can help. So I'll take the over for the Colorado Rockies. Again, not one of those teams that I think is going to crush the over, but 75 win season feels good to me for the Colorado Rockies. So I'll take the over on that one too.
Well, San Francisco is the last team we have to cover. Their over-under is set at 69.5. I like the under a lot. They don't really have much talent going on over there.
Yeah, I'm taking that under.
They're just up and down. There's not really any players.
They had their 27-year-old rookie. What was his name?
Yastrzemski is the player you're thinking of, but
he was dope.
even him,
No, not really. No.
Brought back Hunter Pence. Nice story. He probably won't play well.
No, I didn't even know.
Buster Posey hasn't played well. Brandon Crawford hasn't played well. Brandon Belt's all right.
It's not even all right.
He's okay. Longoria's not good anymore. Like, it's just they're old and they're bad, which is terrible. If you're bad, you gotta be young.
I think with the Giants, not only are they bad right now, they don't really have anything going on for them. You know what I mean?
No, they don't really have a farm system. They don't really have.
They might be I said this for I forget which other team I said this for. They might also be the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
Could be the worst team in baseball.
I'll take the under for them as well.
Yeah.
I think you said Tigers for the worst team.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the Orioles. Yeah, there's like 3 worst
Seattle's
teams.
my worst team.
And Seattle, yeah, there's like 4 worst teams in baseball, and I think that legitimately any one of the 4 of them could be the worst team in baseball. But they're all really bad. Don't get me wrong.
That's pretty much it. We covered all the divisions. We gave the over-unders. We gave our takes on the matter. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I'm good.
All right, that's going to do it for us with the Fastball Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in to our second episode, and come back.
Episode number 2.